let's move on to main topic number 3, shall we? And our third main topic today gets submitted to us by Gar Sundin. The only reason I know how to pronounce that is because one of my all-time favorite hockey players, Matt Sundin. So Gar Sundin writes, Sony has once again used their fake Flash Thompson social media account to put out a picture that kind of makes it look like Ned is going to be Hobgoblin in the next Spider-Man movie. We might be stretching things a long way here, but it does kind of look like the Hobgoblin hat, the Hob hat, as he calls it, coming out of the back of his head. Do you think this was an intentional reveal, or are we reading too much into this as usual? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. All right, so here's what's going on. Jacob Bartolone, who is the kid who plays Ned in the 2 Spider-Man movies. I love this kid. I think this kid is charming and fun, not only on screen, but off screen as well. I love his interviews, all that kind of stuff. Good Filipino kid too, so that makes him very popular with my family, obviously. Good Filipino kid. Anyway, what's happened, for those of you who've not heard about this, is that there is this image that came out on Flash Thompson. For you guys forget, Flash Thompson, the character in Spider-Man, has his own Instagram account, and Sony uses that to promote some things. Anyway, this image came out that Flash posted, and this is what came to us from Screen Rant, who writes, posting on an Instagram account purportedly belonging to the MCU's Flash Thompson, Tony Revolori. By the way, they've used this account many times, Sony has. Sony put up an image of Ned and Betty with a poll on who's worse. The interesting bit is that the image of Ned features an orange triangle reminiscent of the Hobgoblin's hood in the comics. The inference is clear and is the first sign that Sony is at least acknowledging the rumors, if not confirming that Ned will in fact become that character. All right. What they're referring to about the rumors is that previously, I think back in November, December, some rumors started to circulate that Jacob Bartolone's character Ned was going to become Hobgoblin. Now, for a short period of time in the comics, the Ned character does become Hobgoblin, but you later find out he's actually being controlled by the real Hobgoblin. It's a thing. So there is some precedent in the comic books for them doing something like this. On top of all that, let me see if I can pull this up here. Spider-Man, Jacob. Okay, so you guys might remember that a while ago, we talked about this on the show a bit too. Jacob, who's a heavy kid, he's a heavy kid, recently posted images of himself online having dramatic weight loss and really getting in shape. Now, you take a look at this image. And by the way, Lipstick Train Face sends in a super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you for that, Lipstick. Appreciate that. You take a look at this. I mean, just look at his face. I mean, he completely transformed himself. A theory that was going around was that, he didn't just do it for his health, although I'm glad he did for his health. I mean, look, you can have whatever body you want, but at some point, like I've just lost a number of my favorite entertainers over the years because they just got a little too big, whether it was the great John Candy, whether it was Chris Farley or whatever, like that caused health issues. And just seeing the kid getting healthier, that's great, awesome. But it brought up a theory that actually has some really good stuff. It's like the studio might say, look, kid, like Ned is supposed to be this way. Ned's supposed to look the way you look. You can't just drop 150 pounds, right? Like Ned's supposed to look different than the way you look now. So there was a theory going around that the studio wanted him to lose that weight for something in particular. Now, we get into dangerous ground here, Rob, because we're getting into something that is hardly ever works out, which is now we're building theories that are built upon another theory. As soon as you start stacking theories, it can get really messy. But the theory based on another theory is that this image, once again, that they put out with the Hobgoblin hat and stuff like that, is kind of basing it on the other theory that, he was getting into this kind of shape because he was going to be Hobgoblin. Rob, I'm usually the first one to jump up and down and say, guys, stop reading so much into everything. Like, cut it out. You're reading too much. But even I got to say, Sony has used this social media account to do reveals before. And when you start putting the pieces together, I'm not saying that Jacob is going to be a Hobgoblin character. But I'm saying what I am saying is I don't think it's crazy at all for those people who think he will be. I think there's enough little pieces of anecdotal evidence being put together here that, hey, if you've got the theory that he's going to be Hobgoblin, I don't think you're nuts. I don't think you're crazy. It very well could happen. Rob, you've seen all of us, myself included, start taking little bits of things and running way too far with it, but you're seeing what's stacking up here. What do you think's going on?
Well, there's nobody who has better trainers to get people in shape quickly than Marvel does. The people on their payroll know how to transform bodies. Yes. So I would say that there could be something to it, and incorporating that into the plot. Maybe Ned wants. He had a girlfriend in Far From Home. Maybe he wants to become a stud muffin. And maybe something happens that drives him over the edge. I think that there could be definitely something there.
Another important thing we all got to keep in mind too is that the strategic placement of Ned is that he is one of the, other than Mysterio revealing things to the world, which I think they're going to actually take care of very quickly in the first movie and in the next movie. I don't think the world knowing Peter Parker's identity is going to play a very big part in Spider-Man 3. I think that's going to be put to bed fairly quickly in that movie. But prior to the Mysterio reveal, Ned's one of the only guys who actually knows who Spider-Man is and knows that he's Peter Parker. So that could become an interesting little tidbit in there as well. So,
I think the end of Spider-Man Far From Home takes place post WandaVision.
Right.
I think that J. Jonah Jameson is the first evidence we've seen of a multiverse spilling over into our MCU reality, because Far From Home takes place a long time after the snapping, whereas WandaVision takes place 2 weeks after people have returned. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Takes place 3 weeks after Endgame. So I think that J. Jonah Jameson is our first example of whatever the multiverse of madness. I think it's proof that whatever happens at the end of WandaVision is now affecting our reality. So who knows what's going to happen? When I say our reality, I mean the MCU.
The MCU's reality, yes.
MCU reality has already been affected. And that's and it's all part of Spider-Man's identity being revealed and J. Jonah Jameson appearing.
All right, guys. Question is, what do you think about that little image of Jacob with the Hobgoblin hat, the weight loss? Are you putting this together and saying, yeah, he's going to be Hobgoblin? Are you like other people saying, yeah, that's still a bit of a stretch of that? Where are you on this right now? Jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.